Hello, everyone. Welcome in to this late night / early morning match of Roulette Freestyle Remix. Hopefully, someone in chat can confirm that they can both hear me and that all the audio levels sound good at the moment. So we've got a semifinal here between Phanium and Jokerj, the first of two semifinals, second of which will be played later this week on Friday, I believe. And yeah, this is, I guess, the second attempt at having this match happen. There was a bit of a scheduling issue yesterday at this same time for the match, but we are coming in with a new first RNG map in Miami. Obviously, in Roulette Freestyle Remix, all the maps are decided by RNG. So since we already had Berlin rolled the last time, it just made sense to roll a new one to make sure that was unknown to the players. And of course, as every match of the event goes, Phanium is going to be picking one disguise and one kill condition, whereas Joker will be doing the same on his end with our admin, Kekanetta. And then from those two disguises and kill conditions, we will create one cohesive spin where the players can choose to do the kills on either of the two targets. So same as standard roulette for the most part, if you are familiar with that rule set, except the players can opt to go for whatever target they wish for whatever kill. This is first to 6. Each one is 2 points, so we will have at least 3 maps to play here. And yeah, I believe that's about all. Again, as I mentioned, every map is decided by RNG. There are no picks, and perhaps more importantly, there are also no bans for the RNG. So any of our 19 -3 roulette maps can be chosen. Those 3 being Dartmoor, New York, and Hokkaido. Miami, first up, first Hitman Season 2 map. This is only the second time we've seen this in this tournament, actually. So yeah, our spin is live. It's going to be a melee cleaver as the Pale Rider. And then for our second kill, we're going to have electrocution as a food vendor. So I believe the overlay is coded such that one would be player one, I would assume. So that would be Phanium picking the melee cleaver and the food vendor. As we can see, he already had that starting location in mind here, loading in very quickly, whereas Jokerj would have chosen Pale Rider and Electrocution, which we saw a little bit of him practicing that as a singular kill, but obviously those two conditions are going to be separated across the two targets. Joker immediately opts to grab that Pale Rider disguise, whereas Phanium sneaking his way into Sierra's location as that food vendor that he started in. Very strong start on this map for the Sugar Strat. So going to have to imagine that he's going to do that electrocution on Sierra, whereas Jokerj might opt for that melee cleaver as the Pale Rider. Because in general, I would say electrocution is definitely harder. Well, I shouldn't say harder. It can be more time intensive than it is on Robert. But yeah, it's not necessarily more difficult, so I don't think players are really going out of their way a lot in terms of their overall strategy in getting Sierra with that electrocution kill. So we have both players ending the race with the Sugar Strat. All kills in this tournament, including, I believe, Sniper Rifle, have to be done while Sierra is outside of her car. And more often than not, that will be done with the sugar in the engine. We see Phanium is getting the water setup with that little faucet. Since Sierra was made to lose the race with the sugar in her car engine, she will walk out here alone and straight through that puddle. So Phanium could even set it and forget it at this point. He's got his food vendor disguise on right now. He is waiting for Sierra to walk out through there, and then he'll change back into his Kronstadt mechanic to get himself a little bit of an easier exit. We see that kill confirmed before he changed his disguise, so no worries there. Jokerj actually opts for a trank on this food vendor standing here, and I'm assuming that he already knew ahead of time that that could not be spotted. And he actually also wanted the electrocution there. Of course, there's a free cleaver next to him if he hasn't already grabbed one, whereas Phanium is still back downstairs getting his own Pale Rider, and that puts him pretty much on almost exactly equal footing. Jokerj is able to get that electrocution done before changing disguise as well. So now they're in a very similar position, both with that cleaver already in hand. Just got to make sure that is a melee kill where you chop Robert in the back of the head. And of course, I expect to see the laptop lure for both. And this is very close. Pretty much exact same in-game time here for both players. Jokerj is a little bit ahead in terms of making his way to Robert. Phanium seemed like he got a little bit of turned around. Also has yellow guns, but on Miami, that is almost a non-issue because that evidence will be taken out right by where you would normally kill Robert. See Jokerj getting ready for that laptop shot. We see an instinct. Robert is downstairs, so he can do that pretty much as early as he wants and won't have any issues with getting up in time. Same thing for Phanium, of course, because they're at virtually the same in-game time. Also going to go ahead and shoot that laptop. And Jokerj, maybe a 10-second lead, all things considered. And Jokerj actually has 2 cleavers, so he could kill the guard as well if he wanted to. But yeah, save for a very severe screw up here, this is almost definitely going to be a photo finish, which Kaneda would have to count for us, I believe. So Joker is getting ready to grab this kill. Actually going to go ahead and trank the guard, which can be spotted from the roaming guy outside. But assuming he immediately walks to the exit without issue, and we actually do see the guard is currently posted in the perfect spot for Jokerj to be able to make his escape. Just gotta wait for this guard so he can get through here. We do see him prepare for that. There's the crowbar, narrowly avoids getting spotted, and they are both out basically the exact same time. Let's see the in-game time difference. It is 2 seconds of a lead for Phanium. But in terms of real time, that will be seen in the done button press on Kaneda's side, who is now going to have to determine who is our map 1 winner after that one. Extremely close one. And actually, while Kaneda is counting this photo finish, I was hoping there'd be sort of a natural break in the flow of things here. I can show us our brackets, which detail how the players have gotten here thus far. So we see Phanium and Jokerj there in the second semifinal down at the bottom. Phanium having come from beating Blythe and Danny Buddha, neither of those being sweeps, and that is, of course, to be very much expected. Danny Buddha and Blythe are players with an insane amount of roulette experience, so to have such close and well-contested matchups early on, something you don't really want to see as the players, but of course as the viewers, that's always great to have. And knocking out Danny Buddha and Blythe again with a total, I guess, point score of 12-6, and I believe Jokerj having come from 2 great players as well, Yanini and Linux Penguin. I think the only other Miami that we've had was in that match against Yanini that Jokerj played. So obviously we saw him there previously, and that might have even been an electrocution kill. I could be remembering that incorrectly. But yeah, a 6-0 win there in both of those matches. So a long way here, and potentially a long way still to go. We've only got 2 points logged in this match so far, 1st to 6, so at least 2 more maps to be seen here. And then the winner of this will go up against the winner of Mika versus Infrafun, and then whoever drops down out of this match will face the opposite player from that match in our bid for 3rd place. So no player in this 3rd round will be completely eliminated if they do drop from that round. Let's see if we've got any updates here from Kaneda. 0-second time difference, according to Kaneda. And there is a rule about photo finishes that are too close to call. I believe it's half a second for each load. So, for example, if there were 4 loads, half a second for each would be a 2-second window. So, if the players were within 2 seconds of each other after the loading times, it would be counted as a tie, even though both players finished. So, a tied score of 1-1. We may see that here. I did not count the loading times for both the players in my head, so it could be very close. It could be outside of that window. We will have to see when we get that admin decision. He is typing, so he's currently working on getting us those results. And let's see. What are the players saying? They're talking about the rules, being familiar with the rules. Yeah, 0.5 seconds per load. I believe in Roulette Rivals, I think it's a 2-second window. It's been a while since I've had a full read through of the RR rules, but I think it's 2 seconds. So depending on the number of loads, this window could be larger or smaller. Obviously, we only had 1 load for each player, so likely a pretty small window there. But either way, obviously, whoever ends up taking the points, if it is one of our players, other one can't really be disappointed because it does not get any closer than this, pretty much. I mean, basically, identical strats from both players. Actually, switch us back to our streams here, assuming we don't have any ads, and we do, so give that a minute. Yeah, there was a bit of difference in optimization in terms of routing, but nothing really kept either of our players back for a long amount of time. So yeah, let's transition back over, and we will sit until we see 1 or 2 points attributed to either of our players here. And then after that point, Canada will roll for our second map, which can be any of the 15 in the pool that we have not yet seen. And then from there, he will get the condition picks from both of our players as well. Currently, do not have any updates. I imagine there is a lot of counting and recounting to be done. I've had to admin a lot of matches in different tournaments with extremely close photo finishes. Sometimes you end up counting those 5-6 times before you're extremely comfortable with the decision that you have made. As we see Phanium on the main menu and Jokerj doing whatever Jokerj is doing. He has made his way out of bounds on Chongqing. Just kind of walking around. So I'm not actually sure. I believe Jokerj is on PS5. Or sorry, I believe Phanium is on PS5. I don't know if Jokerj is. I hadn't seen the controllers in the pause menu. But if it is the case that they're both on the same hardware, it would make it even closer with load times. At that point, it might come down to preloads, which Phanium and Jokerj both had. Both said to be in PS5 in the Discord. Thank you, Carva. I did not read that through completely, but yeah, that would be pretty much as close to PC loading times as you can get on console, which is to say, pretty quick. So I may need to have someone else jump in to verify these results, and I think I'm the only person that could who is awake at this time, so hopefully it's more of a clear decision. I guess I can read you guys the rules verbatim in terms of photo finishes so we can all be on the exact same page here. Let me scroll down and I can read it for us word for word here. Yes, so obviously when two players press done within 30 seconds, photo finish protocol goes off. This was, I would have been surprised even in the middle of the map if that had ended up being more than 5 seconds, but we saw Kaneda verify 0 second delay because it only counts full seconds. So, given that there's an inherent margin of error of half a second per load, because we're not machines on the admin side of things, we can't calculate loading times to several decimal places. So we give it about half a second per load. So if the final difference is no more than the total margin of error, a tie is awarded. So for example, if there was a difference of 7 seconds over 2 loads from one player, 6 loads from a second player, that would be 8 loads total, a 4-second difference, and that 7 seconds would overcome that margin. So yeah, with I think only 2 loads. I don't think there was any quick replans. Should be only 2 loads, so a 1-second margin of error in total. Makes it very likely to be a tie, but it could be just outside of that range by fractions of a second with all of those recounts. Fortunately, not much more to talk about other than the photo finish, since we will not know our second map. In terms of strategy on Miami, obviously, like I said, they both had really similar approaches. I think going for Robert first, let's see, probably, if I had to guess, or sorry, not Robert first, sorry, Robert for electrocution, so second, but with the other kill condition, I think is basically the same amount of time. You just peekaboo him into the bathroom as he's coming up to check on the laptop. So, maybe 5 seconds faster at most. But it's extremely likely we would have seen a similar outcome, even if they had opted to switch those kills around. But yeah, let's see. It's been 10 minutes on the photo finish here, so I imagine that we are approaching a verdict, as both of our players are also typing in the matches channel alongside Kaneda. Maybe our players will explain to us what the outcome of the match is here somehow. But yeah, I expect seen good sportsmanship for these two players so far. So if one of them does lose the map, I expect we will quickly move on with no issues to our second map. And there's a potential for up to 6 maps, given that it's first to 6. Again, all 6 of those RNG. And we could see it going 4 or more maps in total if this one ends up being a tie, but we will have to see, of course. Have not seen anything from Kaneda in any of our admin channels, so I can't grab any spoilers for you guys yet, but he is typing in the matches chat. So I expect he is getting an official post ready for us here. This is not an enviable position to be in for anyone here who has not admin matches before. You do want to be extremely sure that you get the fair result based on our rules, and we do have it. So Kaneda says that Phanium has loaded for 8 seconds. Jokerj has loaded for 9 seconds. Of course, with 1 load each very quickly. says, as per photo finish rule number 3, as I read to you guys just a little bit ago, this 1 second difference is considered as being within our margin of error in terms of counting on the admin side of things. So this results in a tie. The score after Miami is now 1-1. So, I mean, it literally almost can't be much closer. Obviously, it would be even crazier if this had been the case after tons of loads. But, I mean, a 1 second difference. I'm not even sure any match that I've admined has been that close. So, yeah, great work, both of our players here. Of course, 1-1. Our score reflects the skill of our players here being almost completely equal on Miami. So we head into a quick to medium map here in the form of Whittleton Creek. Hopefully we'll see a timer soon. Let's see, was there a time set for that one? Canetto, apologies for taking so long. No, it's absolutely worth having the best result that we can within the rules that we're able to provide for our players. So players have both received DMs to select their kill condition and disguise for this map, as we get a lovely viewing of the intro cinematic for Whittleton Creek here on Phanium side of things. Glad I have his game audio up. Hopefully you guys can hear that as well. I haven't asked that specifically. Yeah, Carva, I mean, I definitely wasn't surprised by the fact that it was a tie. But when it comes to these matches, I mean, you know what you're signing up for when you're an admin. It is a bit unfortunate for the viewers, but the players as well. Like, when you have a really close photo finish like that, you definitely don't want to be, I guess stolen's not the right word, but you don't want to lose your points in that way. Everyone's kind of just in it for the fair games here. So 1-1 is as good as we can do after we made sure that counting was accurate. So yeah, we should have a timer here fairly shortly once Phanium and Jokerj have both responded to their DMs. And we've got Phanium with certainly got to be one of the worst suits in the game equipped right now, that came out fairly recently with the Berlin escalation. So I've sort of run out of things to talk about after that, like, 10+ minute photo finish calculation. But yeah, I guess we can check out inventories here. We've got Jokerj with the silence pistol, crowbar, and Trank, very standard, but also an emetic poison vial. So potentially ready for poisoning the fumigator. So it's possible we could see... well, actually, I was going to say it's possible we could see consumed poison for Cassidy, but I do believe that is banned in Roulette Freestyle due to the fact that it's so much easier for Janice than it is for Nolan. We want to make that equal difficulty for both players. Oh my goodness. Agent Snail, thank you for the huge raid of 26 people. Thank you. For, I guess, anyone joining in, we had a very close map number 1 in Miami. Yeah, thank you so much, Agent Snail. Very close in map 1 Miami. The spin was, let's see, electrocution as food vendor and a melee cleaver kill as the Pale Rider. This is Roulette Freestyle Remix, which means that they will be given 1 disguise and 1 kill condition for however many targets are on the main mission. So in this case, of course, it is 2 main mission targets. So they will have 1 disguise, 1 kill method for each, and they can choose to do those kills on whichever targets they would like. And I can explain that a little bit better once we actually have the conditions on screen, because on 2 target maps, the spin is entirely decided by our players. Each player picks 1 disguise and 1 kill condition, which will be given to opposite kills. So again, this will be a lot clearer if you aren't familiar with the format once it's actually on screen. But the spin is decided by the players. The map is not. All of the maps are random, and players only know half of the spin before it goes live. Only 20 seconds left. RNG map number 2, Whittleton Creek. And the score is 1-1 after a super close photo finish on map 1 that ended up in a tie. And it'll be 1-6 for the win. Banned, just in this tournament in general, is consumed poison kills on this map because they're so much easier for Janice. But yeah, here is our spin. We have a pistol elimination that can be loud or silent, but it has to be with the prompt, the animation where you shoot them in the back, as Janice's bodyguard. And then we have drowning as the politician as our second. So players can choose to do that pistol elimination kill on Nolan or Janice, and then for the other target, they would be doing that drowning kill. But it does have to be in the disguises that you see there on screen. Obviously, for those of you that are quite familiar with Roulette, it does make a lot of sense to grab this politician disguise early. It is super easy to get within the first couple seconds of the map. We saw there from Phanium with no issues. We actually saw Jokerj going for a trank on the politician's assistant, which is a different disguise. So hopefully we don't see an incorrect kill there, as Phanium was the one to choose the pistol elimination and the politician. And then bodyguard and drowning was chosen by Jokerj. So that's why we saw him with that emetic vial in his loadout ready to go, because he was preparing for that drowning kill, which obviously he chose himself. So Jokerj having a bit of issues with his start here, getting into some combat, getting spotted, trying to get this early politician grab disguise, and obviously this is very different from our first map where we saw super smooth sailing runs from both of our players. Here on Whittleton, Jokerj's having a bit of a rough start, whereas Phanium is almost a minute and a half in game time into his run. He is ready for Janice. He's got, I assume that is a Seeker in his hand, because he's going to want to pull Janice into the bathroom. He's already got that politician disguise on. Ooh, but we see a gun flash on Gunther, which is going to be a target lockdown on Janice. Should be a soft lockdown, but honestly, I'm not entirely sure myself. Maybe it's a hard lockdown. I don't know. I have not played this game very much in the last, 6 months. But of course, I know all the strats. I've seen these maps done millions of times. But yeah, gun flash on a VIP guard is really bad, because you don't have to get spotted almost at all if they see you with that weapon out of the corner of your eye. That'll send them into a lockdown. It's going to take a minute pretty much to get resolved. So a bit of wasted time there for Phanium, but obviously he is preparing. He's going to have to wait until the lockdown is done. No, that's going to be compromised because he was shooting too close to the lockdown. But yeah, I believe given that lockdown status, he would not have gotten sick at the conclusion of it. Lockdowns generally cleanse emetics, so probably was going to have to wait until that was over. But obviously, we see Jokerj J was able to get that politician disguise while everything was so focused on the intensity of Phanium's run. So Jokerj very much back in it. Phanium also there did get spotted very briefly, as Jokerj had in the past. Jokerj making his way over to Nolan, who we see is sick, but everyone else in the house certainly is not, including the bodyguard that is standing right behind him. So he's got darts in hand, and he's looking to make use of those to get this kill. Ooh, he's within that camera's cone of vision, but he is able to shoot it without any issues, and hopefully is able to get in here now that that guard is down and get the... Ooh, he hits the prompt again because it's the same button. Yeah, he really needed to get that drowning prompt immediately. I guess I should say it's the same button on PC. I have no idea on console, but getting spotted there cancels the emetic. which puts Joker in a very rough spot. Has to restart. Obviously hadn't yet ripped, but that was going to take a lot of time to save that one. Maybe didn't have the resources. So now it's back to those early politician grabs. We see Phanium back in it here. Hopefully looking to do the very same thing, but without that gun flash, of course, on Gunther. And Jokerj, obviously you've got to expect that both of the players here are very comfortable with the kill conditions that they have selected, because they've selected them for themselves to have to do. So I imagine that drowning kill is something that Jokerj has experience with. Just kind of unfortunate that those prompts worked against him. So Joker does get spotted there by Nolan, and opts for a restart there, whereas Phanium waiting for Janice now to come all the way downstairs. Let's see. He was able to get that Seeker shot off, and even though Gunther spots this briefcase, obviously no gun flash there. Phanium is going to have to take care of Gunther because of the other guard that is here. Able to knock him out there before Gunther rounded the corner, which is great. Obviously, he was taking that briefcase to the garage with the weapons crate. Now, hopefully, Phanium doesn't get spotted here from a mile away by this guard outside. You can see him watching. And he is able to get away with that. Body shouldn't ever be found. And there's his first kill. And actually, the first kill of the map, Drowning Politician, done for Phanium. So we're looking for pistol elimination as Janice's bodyguard on Nolan on that side of things. We see Joker is working on his clues right now. He's grabbed the lawsuit for the November 13th. And then we'll see him grab the cigar box for the... I think that's the constant meeting, is the cigar box. Yes. Father K. SA is a requirement. Silent Assassin, yeah. So yeah, Phanium is making his way over to Nolan. Obviously, on Whittleton Creek, you would expect a garage isolation. Past the 4-minute mark there, and you want to avoid triggering that proxy conversation. He may have an emetic left, an extra dart left in his Seeker to make it just a little bit faster. But we see Nolan in front of the house now, and Phanium can work on grabbing those other 2 clues, constant meeting confirmed, and November 13th. So Jokerj back in it after that restart, and was able to grab the politician's disguise again without much issue, but obviously he is completely reliant on Phanium to have a rip here. Potentially a GRB on this pistol elimination, but from my experience, pistol eliminations don't seem to get you GRB'd as often as fiber wires, and especially lethal injections. And by that, I mean punching the target in the face instead of killing them from behind. That is what the GRB means. Which would obviously be an end to the run because it does require the elimination prompt for this kill. Got to do it while the target is standing. So we see Nolan's coming back here to puke in the bird bath, which is exactly what Phanium wanted. Able to get that eliminate prompt off safely with his ice baller. There's the kill. The guard is down, and now just needs this cigar box dug up here, which he left his shovel for. And then he can take the bridge exit that is very much nearby. And that would be a 3-1 lead for Phanium going into our third map. We see Joker with 1 kill, but Obviously, it's important to watch Phanium's side of things there, since, again, Jokerj had to rely on a rip. He's actually got a lot of people sick out here because there's not a ton of emetic spots on this map. So when you emetic someplace like the house, it kind of sends people everywhere. But yeah, this is RTA, real-time attack, also known as first to finish, as you've described it. So that will be the win for Phanium. So yeah, Roulette, as it is known in most of these events, is real-time attack, which means you've got to balance going fast with being able to get it done more quickly in fewer runs. So that's map number 2 down in this exciting semifinal match of Roulette Freestyle Remix. And we will see here shortly from Kaneta, our match admin, what the third RNG map is. So we are guaranteed a third and fourth map here, as it is first to 6. The quickest finish would be a 7-1 for Phanium. So obviously the score 3-1 currently, and Dubai is going to be our third RNG map. So again, our players will both DM our match admin to have those kill conditions sent in, and those will be laid out just as they were in Middleton Creek, because this is also a 2-target map. Carl Ingram and Marcus Stuyvesant. And I'm sure Phanium is pretty happy about this one. He is a, well, I guess not necessarily a big Dubai fan, but I know that he's extremely well practiced on it, as a lot of people are in the roulette community, because it's such a quick one. But yeah, obviously you're more comfortable with the spin than in a normal roulette match because you're picking half of it. But Dubai is very much a map where you've got to plan fast. You've got to figure out what you're going to do very quickly. You've got to load into the map almost immediately. And then you've got to hope that if you've got the slower strat, that your opponent messes up. But yeah, let me actually check, see if any kill conditions are banned on Dubai. Yes, it is consumed poison and fire. Fire is just kind of an annoying kill on this map. It's pretty much equal difficulty for both targets, but then consumed poison is one that is not necessarily easier, but definitely faster for Carl than it is for Marcus. So that imbalance there is what leads to those two being banned. But hopefully we'll have those kill conditions in pretty promptly. And then we'll have a timer started, so we'll know when we are heading to Dubai. Let's see, that is going to be 38 past the hour, which is going to be just over 2 minutes from now, as we see down there. So Jokerj is just going through the motions here of making sure he's got this isolation ready to go here. Making sure you get to Marcus before he gets all the way out into the art exhibit, because he is extremely annoying to isolate past that point. Even with the use of emetics. So just barely misses it there, but obviously had the right idea. Phanium is ready in the event staff start with a Trank Crowbar, Scramblers, and a second Trank smuggled. Crowbar is obviously just for the melee, having that blunt melee item, and then the Scramblers, there are a couple of important keycard doors. Notably the one right by that Marcus isolation to get upstairs. So 1 minute left. Going on to Dubai here. Our first Hitman 3 map of the match. And then after this, we will have at least one additional map from a pool of 13 options. Players talking about being tired in the Discord server. It is currently 11:37 p.m. on the 23rd for Phanium, and it is 6:30 in the morning for Jokerj. So not really the greatest time for either of them in terms of being well rested, but at the very least, it's pretty much even there. How can Jokerj play at 6 a.m.? Well, I know he also does have school, I believe, at least. So he was already going to be up pretty early in the first place. But Dubai is up here for us. We've got a melee kill with the scissors in the art crew disguise, and then any explosive weapon, loud or silent, is the famous chef for our second kill. So melee scissors and famous chef chosen by Phanium. And then art crew, explosive weapon chosen by Jokerj. Obviously, we saw that breacher in his loadout in the sort of, I guess, pre-planning run that he had. So nothing extremely surprising there. Explosive weapon is a very simple kill on this map. And the scissors, as we see here on Joker's side, right next to the event staff start. And those, I believe, are the only scissors on the map. There might be one upstairs. I don't remember. But I think that's the only one. So we see Joker's going to grab a silenced SMG, help him get through a door, while Phanium is getting everything isolated. And I believe no scissors in the inventory for Phanium. I could be wrong, but I'm not seeing any there. So, of course, that's why he's going to leave Carl still standing. He will not see any of those bodies, and he, in fact, will not move at all for pretty much the next 4 minutes, as long as Phanium doesn't trigger the Shake's speech, which he has no real reason to. So, very comfortable on that kill. He's looking to isolate Marcus now. Jokerj looking at the same here. One trank. A scream here from, a scream here from Marcus. Obviously, with the melee items, you can do that from the front. Don't have to worry about a GRB, but you do have to worry about the guard at the end of the hallway that sees that. Meanwhile, Phanium has got Marcus down. He's got that breacher ready on the body. Hopefully, he doesn't get wrecked by the female janitor hearing that breacher potentially, if she is still up. But Phanium's going down to grab those scissors, and he will hop up to Carl's balcony, get rid of that first kill, and then move all the way upstairs for that famous chef disguise, which can be done remotely, actually. So skydiving exit is a possibility. Phanium's going back upstairs. This camera's already dealt with, so no rip potential. Gonna go ahead and shove those into the back of Carl's head, or his neck, actually. And then maybe grab a disguise here. Yep, just to make that famous chef even easier. Who's going to be just here upstairs in the kitchen, sort of open kitchen area. Jokerj this time is able to get that Marcus kill, no problem, no sound in the correct disguise. And then, of course, he will have to do that explosive weapon kill on Carl, which isn't going to take him a lot of time, but Phanium does have such a lead and the remote kill already set up. It's going to be very hard for him to make up this gap, even though it's definitely possible that we see a photo finish here. So we see with the help of those tranks, Jokerj makes quick work of this isolation up here. Going to go ahead, knock out Carl, and get his breacher ready. Meanwhile, Phanium grabs that disguise with the Ice Maker and is already headed towards the exit with that second kill completed. So opposite kills here, but doesn't really make too much of a difference on Dubai, just in terms of just affected by routing, sorry. So we see a 303 finish here from Phanium, and I expect we are going to see what Jokerj J's final time is going to be. He might not have time to finish this one out, but he should certainly get close. The photo finish window is 30 seconds, so Jokerj only 30 seconds to make up that difference, and doesn't really seem like that's going to be the case. And we do see the points awarded to Phanium. I think Jokerj was at around 2:15 on his in-game time, with the famous chef coming. So just to be a knockout and then run to the same exit that Phanium took. So probably, maybe 15, 20 seconds faster than Phanium's run. Not a huge difference. Um, but both approaches obviously made a lot of sense. As we saw, even though they went for different targets with that melee kill in play. So 5-1 lead to Phanium right now. Going into our fourth RNG map. This is match point for Phanium, and it is Isle of Scale. So Zoe and Sophia Washington will be potentially our last two targets. Once again, the spin will be fully chosen by our players because there's only two targets. And yeah, if Phanium takes this map, or even if he ties it, he will have the at least 6 points needed to win. Whereas Jokerj, of course, needs to win these next two maps, and then we will have, at that point, a no time limit decider for our final map. Just to be entirely sure that we end up with a clear winner. So Isle of Scale, we are waiting on our players to submit their kill conditions, and then we will have a timer up on the screen for that. I guess the bracket review, I think, happened before the raid, so a lot of you guys might not have seen that. We were going over Phanium, who, God, I'm trying to remember who was who in that. I believe it was Phanium came from Blythe and Danny Buddha, both extremely strong roulette players. Same thing for Jokerj, who came from beating both Unity and Linux Penguin. This has put them up in the semifinals. Only 4 players remain at this stage of the tournament. Whoever wins this match will go on to our grand final, and whoever drops from this match will go on to our third place decider. Just so we can have a clear first, second, and third, even though it is single elimination. And I'll go back over this again once we get to that point. But our final is actually going to be held this weekend, our grand final, on Sunday the 29th. The time will be decided by whenever our players schedule it. But one of the two players that you're seeing in this match will have a guaranteed spot in that final this weekend. Sure to be a very close one. Great tournament so far. We've had gosh, I'm trying to think how many matches we've had up to this point. Let's see, there was a bye in the first round, so it should be 11. We've had 11 matches, I think, prior to this one, and only 3 more to go after the conclusion of this match, so we are coming down to the end here. Isle of Scale in just over a minute, and then we will potentially have a winner once that map is finished. So Phanium, of course, going to be confident going into this last map, and potentially overconfident, I should say, which could end up being his downfall. But of course, Blow's players here have a lot of tournament experience and a lot more Hitman experience. So even with those nerves, not guaranteed to affect the outcome. See, Phanium is looking at practicing this early Zoe isolation that we see quite frequently. Gives you enough time to get up to Sophia in time for that radio lure. So both targets isolated in around 2 minutes or less, which can be really, really great depending on the spin. Not always optimal, but it is a bit of a catch-all in a lot of cases. So we see our spin electrocution as the custodian, and scalpel in the suit. So we see Phanium obviously had that suit start planned, and he had his taser ready for that electrocution. Meanwhile, Jokerj having to plan out a bit for those kills, as he chose the custodian and the scalpel. Scalpel is by the burial robes in the I don't even know what to call the room, morgue sort of area. Again, by the burial robes, only one to be found. So Jokerj had to do a bit of replanning because obviously he didn't know that the suit start would be required, whereas Phanium did, but he is in it only about 15 seconds behind, and we should see a very similar approach here, right at the beginning at least. So definitely potential for a remote electrocution setup here very early on for Zoe, which would make the radio lure even more viable if you're able to take care of that electrocution on Zoe. There's a custodian disguise in this room as well, so don't even have to remote it. You can just kill her and then leave. And there is a natural electrocution opportunity in this room on the other side from where Joker is now. There's a puddle and an outlet, so don't even need to bring in the taser. Phanium is ready here. He's got Zoe coming in. He's bumping her to make sure she's properly separated from the guard, and he does get that KO chain off before anyone gets found. So back in his suit, grabbing a sniper rifle, and he is going up now to Sophia. Doesn't want to miss that, so isn't going to waste any time here on taking care of Sophia now. Only trespassing, actually, but he's got the sniper rifle on his back, so he holds out the pistol to make that whoosh bar fill up just a little bit slower than if he had no gun in his hand at all. Jokerj also got that MOC lure and is actually heading up now to Sophia in the suit. Or, sorry, in the elite guard disguise. Now, this isn't necessarily going to be too much slower than Phanium's approach because both players still need to retrieve that scalpel, and Jokerj will have a legal disguise to grab it already. Phanium might need to grab one, or he may opt to go for a panic, 3-shot panic or something similar to grab that. Maybe he'll get a disguise. We will have to see. Both players, as I mentioned, are ready for this radio lure. Phanium's already got it, and Jokerj is in position here at the 2-minute mark. Phanium's got that secure, drag her behind the couch, and she should be fine there forever. Jokerj also successfully grabs Sophia without her guard. He's got an emetic ready, which actually means that he is looking to do the electrocution on Sophia instead of Zoe. Which is even better considering that he's left his suit down in the MOC area. Even better than having to do back and forth for Sophia. Hopefully that emetic doesn't give him any issues. And at Phanium there, we saw tried to react extremely quickly, but it's very much unlikely that even if he had gotten that shot off in time, that it wouldn't have compromised him. So definitely tried, definitely a valiant effort, but does get spotted there trying to get the isolation in the side room. Now we see Jokerj red guns on Sophia. It doesn't really matter that much. He dealt with the distraction. Just got to make sure she isn't spotted when this door is opened. And he is fine on that front. So Jokerj is going to go down for his scalpel now. He's going to head down through the Constance Tower, which is the direction he's heading in now. He'll wrap around at the bottom, grab the scalpel, run back to the MOC room in this disguise. Then he will change into his suit to get the kill on Zoe, which he has there. And he also has the custodian disguise ready in the MOC room. So after that kill, he will change into that disguise, trigger the electrocution, and then hopefully get out through the helicopter exit. So a very smooth path to victory for Jokerj on this second map, which is definitely needed for him given the score. And Phanium, obviously we aren't sure how close it would have been, but Phanium is, of course, reliant now on a rip from Jokerj because he is very close to finishing in 4.5 minutes or less here. So Phanium is able to grab the Zoe isolation yet again, and he'll head up for that radio. Now, of course, we did see there the scalpel kill in the suit for Joker on Zoe. Switches disguise, gets that electrocution kill, and now just a couple of enforcers to work his way past. Helicopter exit is available, and he's out. So with that done button press, that should be a very clear map win to Jokerj, bringing us up to a 5-3 score. And another map for us here in the semifinal. So another map is guaranteed, and perhaps if Jokerj is to win this next map, we will go on to a 5-5 no time limit decider to determine our winner. And hopefully we don't have another 1 second photo finish there if it does come down to a decider, because that would be a bit of a mess. But Haven Island. Haven Island is going to be potentially our final map here. So that is a 3-target map. So it is important to explain now for you guys that as with the previous couple of maps, each player will send in 1 kill condition and 1 disguise. So 2 of the kills will be decided by the players, and then the 3rd kill, which of course, as previously, can be done on any target that they like, that 3rd kill will be decided completely by RNG. So players going into it will only know 2 out of the 6 kill conditions that they need here on this 3-target map. But obviously, with the flexibility that you're afforded by being able to do the targets with any kill that you'd like, maps like Haven Island, as we see here, which can be made a lot easier or a lot more difficult depending on the kills you get, that issue can be avoided entirely if you select the correct targets, rather than being forced to go into certain ones. So personally, I'm a big fan of Haven Island for Roulette. Say probably a top 3 map for me. So I'm excited to see this one. And I guess rooting for the entertainment of our viewers here would say that you would hope for a Jokerj win on this map to take us to a 6th map, which would be our first decider of the tournament, I believe. Also had in for fun note in the Discord that he believes this to be the first photo finish tie in all of the Providence events that we've had so far. The rule for photo finish ties has existed since, I think, the first event even. We had that margin of error. So it's finally been put into action, having been in the rules all this time. Yeah, I guess I also haven't mentioned yet if there is a repeat of disguises or kill conditions from the players. They do have to choose something else so that we don't have any repeats. But we will have 1 fully random kill since it is an odd number of targets. And it would be sort of imbalanced to have different things decided by different players rather than just having it be the same number. So that's how the rules are laid out. Haven Island in just over a minute here, so pretty quick. See, Phanium is ready for a Villa start with an extremely common pre-made loadout for Haven Island. He's got the Seeker in his hand for Steven and Ludmilla. He will hope to isolate Tyson in the theater room immediately from that Villa start, which is why it is so popular, because Tyson can be very much a pain to isolate. In some strategies, it can be just as easy to get him. It's just timing dependent. So starting Villa means you don't have to worry about timings at all. We see a crowbar for that blunt melee, and a remote concussive duck, I think, would indicate that he has probably chosen explosion accident as one of his kill conditions to set off a propane, maybe, as a remote kill. I'm not really sure what else that would be needed for. Then we see Jokerj has brought a remote explosive in his planning phase, so maybe loud explosive weapon. But no, I am completely wrong about both of those things. And actually, both of these items make sense for these kills, so I'll explain that in a second. But we've got Fall as Chef, Falling Object as Lifeguard, Seashell as Tech Crew. So Fall and Lifeguard were decided by Phanium. The reason the duck makes sense is because If you leave that for Tyson in the jacuzzi after you've repaired it, you can detonate that, and that will be a fall accident kill on Tyson. So that makes sense for the fall kill on Phanium's end. And then Jokerj chose Falling Object and Chef, and that explosive weapon can be used with the same jacuzzi to set up a remote kill with the chandelier right above it. So you throw an explosive on top of the chandelier, and then when you're ready for that Tyson kill, you detonate it, and it lands on him. And you've got a very large window to get that ready to go. So we see Phanium drops the duck to have that ready to be picked up by Tyson later. And then Joker, with a quick restart, is looking to do the same thing pretty much. There is also a remote explosive free on the map by the Silence Pistol down here in the villa. So that is also an option, but you've got the loadout flexibility with a spin like this. But yeah, Fall and Falling Object are not the easiest kills in the world for Steven and Ludmilla. So they're not the hardest kills in the game by any means, but they can be a bit annoying. So may see some shenanigans there. Yeah, 2 remote explosives. I expect there also to be one in the security hut, but that area basically doesn't exist for Roulette because of it being far out of the way. But for contracts, 100%, I could see that being useful. And then I didn't actually go super into detail about our third kill. Seashell as tech crew. I think there's 3, maybe 4 seashells on the map. There's one by the land bridge between the villa and the resort, sort of near that area. There's one by the seaplane, and then there's one by the scuba instructor, sort of off in the forest. I think those are the only 3. I haven't played Roulette a lot in quite a while, but this stuff kind of sticks with you after so long. But yeah, we see Phanium's already got that tech crew disguise ready, changing into a chef, and I think we're about to see that fall kill in just a second. So he's got that collector's explosive. Hopefully that was picked up by Tyson. He's got the inventory glitch, which you usually only see with guns. But he is finally able to switch, and we see Tyson kind of just like flops in place. And that is an accident. It is also a fall kill in contracts. I think I tested that like forever ago to make sure that was legal. But yeah, quick kill there. He's already in his tech crew disguise, which he grabbed from the same guy that Joker is currently getting for that seashell kill, which will be the easier of the 2 remaining for him. Jokerj, of course, planning on that falling object for Tyson. In terms of falling object kills, we're more likely on Phanium to see that done for Steven, but potentially not. No, okay, he's securing the guard, not Steven. So that'll get the guard out of the way, and he wants to try to get Steven as he moves towards his island. There are some coconuts kind of far back in the villa area that he's probably going to opt to try to get Steven with. Just get rid of this guard entirely so you don't have to deal with that. Some of the sightlines are pretty horrendous. Obviously, everyone has played Haven Island. They know that. So you definitely want to try to do that falling object kill live rather than knocking him out. So we see Jokerj is actually going to try to snipe the chandelier from back here, and he does get it. We see a bit of an unusual lifeguard grabbed from Joker with 2 sedatives. And he does actually get the snipe off, so did not remote that one. And is now able to grab his tech crew disguise. And he was actually very close to missing the window where he could kill Tyson. So he almost ran away from the chandelier. So coming in clutch there, we see Phanium grab that seashell I mentioned earlier. So he is ready for everything now. Just needs to get these last 2 kills. And I'll have plenty of time for Ludmilla after this Steven kill. Meanwhile, Joker's going to have to do that fall kill, which isn't really any more difficult than falling object. At least for Steven. Ludmilla can be a bit of a pain to get the leg shot this far into the map. So Probably going to go for Steven. Phanium grabs the lifeguard that we typically see, the sleeping guy. Whereas Jokerj now has his chef disguise, so looking towards a fall kill. Whereas Phanium is very much ready to grab Steven here. So he may not get him before he leaves. He's trying to grab on a chain lure to get him around to these coconuts, but you do also have the option of getting this kill once he's made it to the island, so no big hurry there. Able to get this chain lure pretty well. I imagine he'll look up soon and line this up with the coconuts, unless he already has the spot memorized. But there are some coconuts around here to drop on his head from the bushes. Yep, we see him throwing it. We see the shadow of the tree here. And an extremely long chain lure, but not a huge issue since the guard is already taken care of. And I think he brought him to the wrong... Okay, I was going to say, I thought he brought him to the wrong tree there. But no, he did find the coconuts. And he's got a loud pistol for this. Steven looks like he's going for the distraction, so hopefully he is properly underneath. Yeah, it looks like he's distracted by the bushes instead, actually. So Joker is making his way to getting a similar kill on Steven. Just going to be probably a lure into the water, followed by a leg shot. We do see Phanium with that loud pistol after that follow-up distraction. He actually gets a challenge progress, too. We see Joker's looking to use some coins to get Steven out into the water, which will be a pretty easy leg shot kill. Hopefully no Haven compromise from across the map shenanigans. We see Phanium goes to drag the lifeguard, who you can actually leave there forever. Whereas Phanium goes for the leg shot, Joker goes for the leg shot. You don't want to keep shooting him over and over again if you don't get the kill, because you're going to kill him eventually. Ooh, he knocks him out. Yeah. That is absolutely not how you want to handle that one. That's either you hope he locks down and runs through the water, or you just wait it out. Because that's why I was saying, that's why you really have to do these kills live in this area. The sightlines are insane. They go farther than they do on any other map in the game. Obviously, everyone knows the sort of rule of thumb where if you can't see an NPC's outline in Instinct, they can't see you. But that does not apply on Haven. They will see you from anywhere and everywhere. So one of those civilians caught a glimpse of that one. And yeah, both starting fresh, about 20 minutes, about 20 seconds of difference with 36 minutes left on the clock. So sort of similar strats in terms of the approaches for the targets. Obviously different kills. But those were basically just reversed. And then, of course, we're going to see the Seashell as tech crew going into Ludmilla for that last kill. Simply because the accidents can be much more annoying for Ludmilla than the other two. See a rip from Joker as he tries to grab that silenced pistol, which actually sets him very far back in a match with strats as close as the ones that we just saw. So that could be the killing blow on Jokerj, but Phanium's got plenty of his strat still to go, so nowhere near GG's on this map. He's got Tyson set up, Phanium does, so we're going to see him grab that chef again. Very likely going to be the same thing. Only issue with Phanium was dragging that guy. You really don't have to. I mean, unless you're creating panic in the area, or you're leaving weapons, around in a lot of different places. No one ever comes into that room naturally. So it can often be safer to literally just leave the body there out in the open than try to put it even in the cabinet right next to you, because you can get spotted there pretty infrequently, but it still happens. So Phanium might have been worried about Steven's body getting dragged somewhere, as we see a bit of a gross extended illegal from that bullet distraction on Joker's side. Well, kind of different from extended illegal mechanics, but a similar idea with proximity and gunshots. So Phanium, we saw grab that Tyson kill in the chef. So he's back on the same thing here. Gonna get Steven's guard out of the way, and then grab that lifeguard disguise, and he'll have everything that he needs ready to go. Okay, he's gonna go for the lifeguard now, and it's just as easy for him to get spotted there. He gets lucky with it this time, but that's definitely very sketchy. Even using the cabinet right next to the lifeguard can be sketchy, but dragging him all the way into the room, I mean, that's extremely risky, especially when you've already ripped it on it, especially when you're on 3.5 minutes. Joker, though, with another early restart, he's got so much ground to cover, even if Phanium does have a rip here soon. What happens if both do not finish? If the timer you see there on the bottom left of the screen runs out, the map is counted as a tie if nobody finishes. So 1 point to each player. Since it is first to 6, that would mean a win for Phanium. So Joker has to win this map or the match is over. So yeah, Phanium is trying to stall Steven a little bit so he can get his disguise back. Actually needs that lifeguard. Stall Steven a bit and get him ready for the chain lure. Also needs this resort guard to kind of be out of the way because he'll investigate some of those distractions. And we see him already being annoying. So yeah, long chain lure for Steven again, but not very much longer than what is needed for the fall kill. So all Joker really has to do is get Steven a little bit further. He was in very shallow water with the leg shot, and you can actually drag targets off. Like if Joker were to knock Steven out at the spot that Phanium is now, you could drag him to the water, and you'll get a dump prompt eventually, which gives you a bit of an idea of how far they have to be standing in order to get that leg shot off, and it is definitely a bit farther. Yeah, with Haven view cones, obviously you're not gonna knock them out. I'm just saying it helps you know the distance, I guess, if you do it like in practice that you have to get them to go. Is useful for Tyson sometimes, but Steven and Ludmilla absolutely not. We do see Phanium successfully gets that loud kill completed. And yes, Mailman, that is Wilson. I think you're talking about the challenge progress that popped up. Yes, the famous fictional coconut. Well, volleyball, but I don't know if that's what you're talking about at all, but maybe that's the challenge that came up. I don't know. Yeah, so restart Joker's and Phanium gets away with that cleanly. And we actually saw Joker on the first run. Very narrowly got that Tyson kill. And this time we see what happens when it isn't so narrow and he misses the window. But yeah, Phanium is a little bit late to Ludmilla here, and he wants to get the Seeker to get in to go to the restroom. With planning, it doesn't really matter which restroom she goes to, but you want to get this Seeker down here before she goes away, because that gets her some really bad emetic spots, like Portman's Suite. So, she's definitely closer to the men's restroom, so that is the more likely choice, and that's basically just a free kill once she gets to the toilet, and then Phanium obviously will have the boat exit very much nearby, so he's even going to stall the guard a little bit to be extra safe, but this kill is very hard to lose your silent assassin on, because she self-isolates. Her guard leaves her forever. And Phanium almost found a way to mess that up, actually, because when you do a thrown action with a lethal melee item, they don't even have to see the person that it hits. It's just an illegal action. So with a knockout, they have to see the throw and the body to compromise you. But with the melee, the lethal melee, it's just a suspicion bar. So he could have gotten spotted there by someone outside. Got pretty lucky not to have that happen. But that is a 7-3 win to Phanium after a bit of a long one, almost an hour and 15 minutes. And let me go ahead and update that final score so we can see that all nice and situated in the brackets when we switch over to there. So that'll be a 7-3 victory for Phanium. And update that, make sure that looks good in my overlay. GG's, of course, to both of our players. Very hard fought, and it's not over for either of them, actually. Yep, bracket has been updated successfully, so we'll switch over there. That is, as you can see, a 7-point win for Phanium, who will move on to our grand final. Again, that is this Sunday, the 29th, the time that is to be determined. You will see that in the Providence Discord server and our matches channel. That will be scheduled, should be, a day or two ahead of time, because as you can see there up top, our second semifinal against Mika and In for Fun is scheduled for Friday. So Phanium, again, moving on to the final, Joker will drop to the third place match to determine who will be in third and who will be in fourth, because, of course, single elimination, that's the only way to decide that third place solidly. So Mika or In for Fun will go into both of those matches once that one is done. So that's going to be on the 27th, this Friday. The time you see on screen is actually in my time zone. I'm in Central Time in the United... voice crack, wow. In the United States. I have not had much water in the last hour and a half. So yeah, Central European Time, that would be 17 or 5 p.m., and then I guess you can figure it out from there. In the Providence Discord server and in the tournament page for the event, it will be shown in your local time zone automatically if you are very much not sure of that one. So yeah, tune in for that one. Tune in for our third place and our final, both of which should be happening this Sunday. Very exciting. The final will be 1st to 8, so potentially even more matches than we've seen in any other match. Great match here, of course, even with a photo finish tie. Very unusual in these matches, but it does happen with players as good as the ones in these tournaments. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. Thanks, of course, to K Canetta for the adminning work. For everyone involved, this was a bit of a wonky time to have a match, but very much enjoyable to watch. Very much came down to the end of it there. Could have even had a decider. But yeah, I guess I will check. I highly doubt anyone is available to raid, because my normal raid target at this hour would be Agent Snail, who of course is the one that gave me the raid. So I will check Hitman 3 real quick, but it is very likely there will be no one available. That I know, at least, obviously, representing the community. I don't want to send you guys to someone who I don't know at all. So yeah, I am not seeing anyone, and it is not surprising at this hour, but that'll wrap it up. Thanks again for joining me. Thanks again to K Canetta. Check out Providence for more information. Oh, Zeb is live. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't see that. Is he not playing Hitman? I don't care if he's not playing Hitman, but he is playing Hitman. He just started 9 minutes ago. Huh, maybe that's why he didn't show up. I refreshed it, but yeah, he's live. Okay. I will send everyone over there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Let's see. I think it's spelled like that. Yep. All right. Raid is ready for the millionth time. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. Thanks now for the huge raid. Thanks, K Canetta. again, check out Providence Discord server for all things Roulette, Freestyle, Remix, and our future events as well. See you guys.